The following video is one in a series on spiritual resilience training, a non-religious view of personal values and their dynamics with others. The contents reflect a variety of principles and practices of systems theory and relational counseling for team building and family resilience. Although the series is intended to support Army Corps values, each video also encourages the viewer to reflect on their current prominent values in specific situations and to consider what values may be more appropriate to means and results that are honorable and helpful with others. Chaplain Dillard initiates creating and posting these videos. Their contents and YouTube's linked videos do not necessarily reflect specific beliefs, practices, requirements, or endorsements of the Department of Defense, its subordinate organizations, or other groups with which Chaplain Dillard is affiliated. Welcome back. We are starting now to drill down into some specifics of each generation, one generation at a time. But before we do that, let me emphasize a couple things. One, if you have not seen the two-part introduction that does a broad sweep and compares 5 generations to each other, I would encourage you to watch that. We won't duplicate that here, and I think that is foundational to understanding what we're trying to accomplish. Secondly, just a reminder that I'm not trying to pigeonhole any individual and say that because they're from this generation, this is who they are, or that this is who they should be. These are some broad observations about national and world events that shaped people in their formative years growing up, and the intent is for us to understand each other better because we tend to see each other through our own lens, through our worldview, and generations can have very different worldviews because the world was different at the time that they were growing up. So, having said that, let's go ahead and dive in. You remember the baby boomers, those that when unusual prosperity said you can do anything, they attempted just about anything, whatever they could do. I say they, I'm a baby boomer. Some of their key influences, bottom line up front, they went from the radical 70s to the yuppie 80s. They were raised in civil rights, Vietnam, social revolutions, the Cold War, space travel, and greatly increased rates of divorce. That's the thumbnail sketch. There's a lot more in the introduction on those specifics and more. We won't cover those again. But let's look at some specifics that apply more particularly to work. And we won't compare to the silent generation because then the videos would just get increasingly longer and longer. But I've left them there in a subdued font so you can see them for comparison if you'd like to. But we're going to go through these somewhat quickly to keep the video relatively short. Their work goal as a baby boomers is a stellar career because they're optimistic. Not only they believe that they can do anything, when they put their mind to it, when they put their hand to it, they want to do exceptionally well. So it's not enough for them to earn the money, to earn the position. They want their career to shine. So that's a good thing and a hard thing, right? Because what happens when you don't shine? You can't shine all the time. But it means that they're very hard workers. Institutions, which they believe deserve to change. Remember, they're going through the time of civil rights, a lot of social revolutions, Vietnam, and other great changes that tell them institutions should change. They deserve to change because some of them, to a degree, have shown that they're trustworthy and they can make progress, things that came out of the New Deal. And whatever you think about the New Deal under Roosevelt, there was some growth there, a lot of growth in many ways. And they saw some social things that changed, and they saw others that caused some concern. But they see the power of change, and they're more flexible than the greater generation or the silent generation. Rewards. To reward them, it's all about title, money, and awards, whether that's an award of time off, an award of a public recognition or some sort, because they're less about community than the silent generation was, and they're more about individual success, which makes sense about the title or the individual award, because getting out of the crisis has been accomplished by the silent generation. Now they're building on that. There's more individuality, so they want to be rewarded individually. Even if it's just a recognition, hey Sam, great job, or standing them up in front of their peers and telling others exactly what they did to earn a specific certificate or of achievement or award. Career path. For them, changing jobs is inefficient. It's not good and it's not bad, but it just doesn't make sense. How am I going to get that title if I change jobs? How am I going to make more money if I have to start over in another job? How am I going to have a stellar career if I go back to ground zero at another job? So for them, it's just inefficient. Feedback. Tell me once a year if we have to, but generally speaking, I don't want feedback. I'm a baby boomer, okay? I can say this. Baby boomers tend to think a lot of themselves because the economy and the society has been fairly prosperous, which means they have been able to be prosperous. They're doing extremely well individually, so why would I need a whole lot of feedback from you? I'm getting it right. I'm working, I'm achieving, I'm rising. So if you got to tell me something, yeah, let's sit down and let me get back to shining, to doing great things. Now, I don't want to say that every baby boomer has a problem of hubris or unhealthy pride, but it is important to realize coming up in a very prosperous society and economy has effects on individuals and how they view whether they should be receiving feedback or not. Work and family. They live to work. I often have lived to work. It's got me in trouble. In one of my very first assignments in the military, ministry became my mistress because I came in early, worked through lunch, stayed late, came in on weekends. I thought that the world needed me. I was God's gift to ministry, so I thought. So work and family, that's tough for baby boomers. We often are workaholics, and that often comes to the detriment of our families. The workplace is more flat or democratic because if everybody is optimistic, if everybody is trying to be a stellar achiever, and I say everybody, that's a generalization, then why wouldn't we have more of a democratic and flat organization? Because everybody is like a racehorse or like a maverick. They're out there to make it happen. And don't we want to learn from each other and provide equal respect and equal opportunity for each other, because everybody is working super, super hard and doing very, very well, generally speaking. The leader's style is more collegial. Some of that is because, again, everybody's prosperous and they can be trusted when you look to your left and your right. Some of it, as well as the economy is doing so well, we don't really need to be competitive. I'm not going to take a job from you, and you're not going to take one from me. Now, that'll change in future generations because of how much is available out there. But right now, the economy, or when the baby boomer was growing up, the economy was good. So we could afford to be more collegial. For the baby boomers, communication is call me if you need to, and let's be diplomatic about it. They're too busy for a whole lot of face-to-face. I'm often guilty of this myself. So the call me makes more sense than let's take time to go to each other's offices or meet somewhere. We've got to get work done. And the diplomacy about it is, again, kind of efficient. Let's just give me the facts, just the facts, ma'am. Kind of the Jack Webb, remember Dragnet? Baby boomers remember Dragnet. So we can get back to work. We don't need to go into great detail. How do you motivate a baby boomer? Security. Security in the sense that I want to get my job done. I want to know my job is there. Put up some high walls that protect me so I can do my job and so I can shine. What type of mentor do baby boomers want? Well, when possible, but only if needed for excellence. So they're willing to have a mentor, but they're doing so well. Do they really need one? Do they really want one? Well, if they've not shined as much as they want to, they may be open. So it kind of depends on the individual's rate of success. How about some of their resulting values and beliefs? Remember that the baby boomers, generally speaking, were and are optimistic. We can get it done. So here's some thoughts. The baby boomers value individual achievement, which makes sense because they want to have a stellar career. They strive to do their very best. They believe that they should challenge rules, crusade causes, and invest in work. Remember, work is more important typically than family, not in every case. Loyalty to the team, very process-oriented. Relational work is important to them, and they value ambition, collaboration, equality, fulfillment, and youthfulness. Now, there's a whole list of other things they value and believe. Those are just some I pulled from some of the research. If you remember some of those scholarly references, you can look back and just think about how they grew up, what impacted them from the nation and world events, and a lot of that makes sense. A very prosperous world. There's a lot of potential in the future. They're future focused. They're not so much focused on the here and now, because here and now is good. Let's make it even better in the future. Kind of feel 9 foot tall and bulletproof in many ways. And everybody on their left and right, for the most part, has a similar work ethic and similar desire for excellence. So let's stay young and get it done and just go forever. Now, how do we work together with baby boomers, or we as baby boomers work with other generations? Here's some suggestions for work teams. That we value their optimism and their work ethic by offering them flexibility and authority as they earn it, but respectfully guard them against overwork and burnout. A baby boomer, typically speaking, will work and work and work for themselves, but it will benefit. That's not to say that they're selfish necessarily, but they see individual careers as very important, and that will benefit the organization. But if you don't watch them, they'll burn out. And if they burn out, then they're no good to themselves, to the organization, or their family. So offer them some flexibility to work outside of some lanes, so that they're not like a racehorse just channeled go, 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 go. And some authority, if they've got all that initiative and excellence, that they can help others to get things done well. But you got to watch them that they don't burn out. And you may have to kind of encourage them and prod them a little bit. Take a longer lunch. It's okay today. Your kid's sick. I'll cover for you. If you need to take off a little bit early today and make up for it tomorrow, we can work that out, so that they don't see life as synonymous with work. If they do, that is going to negatively impact their family, and they'll bring those family stresses home to work, and vice versa. And the more healthy they are at home, the more healthy they'll be at work, and that will positively impact the work team. Hope that makes sense to you. Hope that's helpful. Next time we'll look at the same categories for Generation X folks. Again, not trying to pigeonhole people and saying that this is the way every individual in that generation is or should be, but trying to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes so that we can have better understanding for individual growth and group synergy, mostly in our work teams, but it also applies to families and neighborhoods as well. Hope to see you next time. At the release date of this video, I am stationed with Research, Development, and Engineering Command, RDECOM, at Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. Because the majority of our personnel are in this area, I spend most of my time here. I do, however, travel to our distant units based on command priorities and budget. I place these videos on YouTube for broad visibility to Army personnel and their families, but I hope the videos will be helpful to others too. If you are assigned to RDECOM and want to request specific topics by video, training on site or by VTC, or confidential counseling on site or by secure webcam, you can contact me at jeffrey.d.dillard.mil@mail.mil.